I'm Alli. I came out after 20 years of marriage, and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melisa, and I have 2 kids, and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about love bombing, which is a topic we've talked about before. I think one of our early episodes was about it. I have vivid memories of recording into an iPad and talking about this when we first started. And I think for us, I don't know. Do you think you were love bombed your first relationship?
I think every lesbian relationship starts as a love bombing. So to me, it's like, this topic is interesting because how do you differentiate between the two? Because every single lesbian relationship I've had, it starts with high excitement, texting a million times, and I love yous way too early. Mm-hmm. And then they either work out or they don't. And then if they don't, we call it love bombing. And if they do, we call it real love.
That's very true. It's like, if it doesn't work out, then it's like a traumatic experience that just happened to you. Mm-hmm. If it does work out, then it's like, oh, we were so in love. We were just so into each other right off the bat.
Yeah, that's what my partner and I say.
And I think it is like really confusing. I just found like a note from a woman that I dated like a few years ago. And I know that we were like very fresh in it. And she's just like, I'm so excited about you. Like that we found each other and like what like a divine situation, that kind of thing. Like that we found each other. And then we're broken up like a couple months later, you know? And so I'm like, was that love bombing or is that just like how she operates? Like she gets excited about relationships, you know?
I remember when I met my partner that first of all, we went out on our date. And then the next day I sent flowers to her house. Like, this is so not me.
This is on the list of love bombing.
I sent flowers the very next day and said exactly what you just said that woman said, which is, I'm really excited about us.
Yeah.
And so was I love bombing? Yes.
Yes.
Am I still love bombing? Also, yes.
I'm going to read some of the signs of love bombing.
All right, I'm going to say check if I do them.
This is from the Millennial Therapist on Instagram.
Okay.
And the first one says, they make grand romantic gestures, give extravagant gifts, a la Alli sending flowers the next day.
Oh, and check.
They always compliment you.
Check.
They promote excessive communication.
Check, 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 check.
They request constant attention.
Check.
They demand commitment.
I didn't do that.
Not right off the
Not
gate.
right away. In fact, I even shied away from it. I verbalized I do not want to be responsible for you in a relationship.
Okay. They resist your boundaries.
Neither of us had boundaries.
They make soulmate claims.
Check, check. She even did the thing where she said that, have you ever heard of what a twin flame is?
Oh, yes.
She'll kill me for saying this, but she wrote me this whole thing and then sent me an article about twin flames and said I was her twin flame.
Did your catalyst do this, though?
No, my catalyst was horrible.
See, my catalyst was doing stuff like this to me.
No, my catalyst definitely was like, I want to be with you forever, but no, she would not have sent me a cheesy twin flame article.
Oh, my God. All right. They say, I love you very quickly.
Check.
They are good at saying what you want to hear.
Check.
Do you know that you're doing that, though?
Even now, you mean? Or like
yeah,
back then?
like saying what they want to hear.
I don't know. I mean, actually, I don't know if I always say. I mean, sometimes I'm the opposite. I'm a truth teller.
Yeah. Well, I think saying what you want to hear is more like, you know, a lot of the time we want to hear that like we're the best that they've ever been with, like that kind of thing. Like, they feel too good to be true.
Oh, check for sure. I was like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah, I felt that way. They make you feel like you're being saved.
I don't know about
They're
that.
They're going to save you from a situation. They make immediate promises about the future.
Check.
They put you on a pedestal.
Check.
Now, I've had this happen with both, though.
I know. I didn't have that happen with my catalyst. She definitely was like, I want to be with you forever. If this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be with anyone else ever. Like, she would say things like that. But No, it wasn't. My partner and I were massively love bombing. The second girl I was with, woman I was with, I would say love bombed me, but
but not in a manipulative way.
No, it was a sweet way.
And I think that's the difference, you know, because like this can be done in like a very manipulative way where you're getting all these like wonderful comments from someone. They're sending you gifts. They're so into you, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like the rug's pulled out from under you, you know, like that's how I felt. It was like I got love bombed for about like 3 months and then like total reversal.
Like she just changed her mind.
It was like she kept trying to like end things, but then she would be like mad when I didn't react the right way.
Yeah, that's though a healthy, like not healthy. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, so I relate to it. But I think that's not necessarily, she was trying to elicit a big response from you for her own security.
Yeah. Well, and like I have a friend who was seeing someone and I'm like, this sounds like love bombing, you know, like I would be wary.
You're right.
And she was like, no. She's just like really like an open, free spirit and like wants to like say all these things. Like she doesn't hold back. But then there was like a scenario where they weren't together and it was like kind of like go have fun, do your thing. But then when she did her thing, this other woman got pissed.
Right.
And
but
was
don't
like,
you remember
this
our
proves that
catalyst?
you didn't want to be with me and blah, blah,
right,
blah.
Right.
And that's just it. It's like that, like the Uno reverse card is thrown out, like where you were doing what you were told you were allowed to do. And then
but then it was the go have fun with your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you've been told that it's like okay to like live your life and do your thing. But then once you do, it's like you're a terrible human who's no longer like truly in love with them.
Yeah, it's tests. Like I feel like when I was in a stage of like coming out of my marriage and even maybe in the early stages with my partner, if I'm really being honest, I was almost like testing her limits to create safety for myself. Of like how, you know, much can I push you away and have you keep fighting for me to give me some safety.
Yeah.
It's sick. I mean, these are things I had to work out, but she would say it was because I was coming from a place of like insecure, like I'm insecure, not me personally as a human, but more like I came from this 20-year safety where all my bills were paid, the kids were taken care of with this other person to I alone right now trying to figure it out. And like I was working and like things, she's like, I had to meet you where you were and show you that security so that you could chill into it.
Mm-hmm. I think, you know, like you said, it's like we're testing people sometimes.
Yeah, testing.
You want to like, and almost like subconsciously you're doing it.
Totally,
you know?
subconsciously.
Like you want to test them and see like that if they fight for you.
Right.
Know? I even remember doing that with like with my ex-husband. Like when we first met, we got into an argument about something, and I was very much like testing him, and he was not taking the bait at all. Like he did not.
He was kind of like, okay.
Yeah. And I remember being like, fuck, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. Like he's not playing the game with
not
me.
Playing at all. And I was like, I can't do this. It's not fair.
And then how did you figure it out? Like what happened?
I figured it out like right away. And I just was like, I realized like, he's not going to be that person he's
not sick enough to play my game.
Exactly.
So I need someone far less healthy.
I need to stop playing the game.
Will Marina play the game?
I don't play the game anymore.
Ever. Come on. Bullshit.
No, I wouldn't say not like that. I'm not like
like
threatening
that,
to
but
leave or by any means.
Does she ever threaten to leave?
No, neither of us do that.
Okay.
And it's actually like, even if, you know, sometimes it's kind of like, God, this is hard, or like we're, you know, maybe not on the same page, but I'm like, what do we even do? I can't leave. I'm not going anywhere. I can't. Like I physically, and that's not like.
What do you mean you can't?
My heart would not let me leave her. Like there's no way I could do it. I would like be devastated, and I'd also be like, you're a fucking idiot.
Right. But what if like, okay, what would have to happen for that not to be true?
Oof. She'd have to transform into like a different person.
What if she cheated on you?
Oh, well I don't know that I could handle that. I don't think either of us could handle that. Like, and we both know that that's like a game changer, you know?
Right.
But I would rather I don't know. I was going to say I'd rather, if it was going to happen, I'd rather pick up the phone and call me and be like, we're done, than her actually follow through with the act of cheating.
I don't know.
But either way, it's like, ugh, like what a shock. And like, I think the thing with cheating too is that like, you know, things have led up to get you there. It's not like it just happened.
Yeah,
so,
like we talked about, it's a series of decisions.
A series of decisions.
But it sometimes isn't that obvious. Like it's like, let's say they're working at an event. She meets this cool woman there's nothing happening, but she's like, God, this woman is super fucking cool. And then she can't help it. She's back at her hotel that night, kind of thinking about this chick.
But then but at that point, that's when like,
what does she do? Just have no more contact with this woman she works with?
Yeah, like work it out. Figure something out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that would be a point where I'd be like, if that were me personally, I'd be like making an appointment with my therapist
to say that I'm having these feelings about somebody else.
What do I do?
Yeah. But do you think it's normal? Like I think about like if you're really honest, like people, well, I mean, an example would be like last night, Maria and I were watching Yellowstone, and there's the woman who's what is she, the senator? She's this attractive woman. Her name's Linnell on the show. But like we both were like, wow, that is like, she's hot. Mm-hmm. And Maria was like, she's totally my type. And I was like, wait, what? Like,
are you jealous?
And I thought, I was laughing, but I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I'm a lot like her.
Totally see the resemblance.
You see the resemblance. We're both, these strong women. Like I'm joking. But anyway, I could see how like, I don't know. It's weird to think of your partner like ever attracted to anyone else but you.
That is hard.
But it happens.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like that happened like Maureen and I were watching a show and she said that she thought someone was hot. And
even if it's not even if it's on a show that's not attainable, but it's like even in real life, I'm sure if Marina's honest, she meets women at events that are like attractive and cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's like, does she just not acknowledge, or is it like, to me, there's something, I don't know. Like, does she just shut all that down? Or like for me personally, I could acknowledge that somebody's attractive, but my feelings, my head's so not in that space that I wouldn't even consider them an alternative.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's okay to like acknowledge that someone's attractive.
Yeah.
But it's another to like sit there and think like, okay, should I pursue this?
Not even should I pursue this, but like, have you ever had a conversation come up where you're like, wow, this person is like really interesting. And like, this is a stimulating conversation. I'm stimulated in a way that I'm surprised.
I haven't had that happen.
Yeah.
That's like a rare thing.
It is a rare thing.
Like to where I'm both stimulated by the conversation and attracted to them. Like that's not happening.
Right.
I mean, it happened when I met her.
Right.
But
then you shut it kind of like mentally. You can't go there. Like Maria and I sometimes say like, we're so like at work, she's talking to lots of cool women, but she's talking about our life together.
Right. And I think I was the same way when I was married. I was not looking elsewhere.
No.
Ever.
No,
and,
neither was I.
I mean, part of it was that I wasn't attracted to men and I just didn't realize it. But
yeah.
I found it really easy just to be like, I'm with this person and that's it. Like I'm not
the
browsing.
father of these kids. Yeah.
Like I think when you're really in it with someone, you just kind of shut that part out.
Yeah. It's not
like you're not
even
entertaining
an option.
stuff.
Right.
I found this thing that's about the 6 reasons for love bombing.
Okay, tell me.
Why people do it.
Okay.
I think that's another thing to dive
And what
into.
if you really just feel it? Like,
I mean, that's true.
I mean, why is it love bombing?
I think it's like, it's love bombing if it's followed up by manipulation.
But how do you, like, would you say what I did in the early days with Maria? Was she manipulating me when she was like texting me that we're twin flames and saying
you're also
she loves
sending
me?
flowers.
I know.
So
were we love bombing?
It's a mutual love bomb. And maybe that's just it. If
but
it's mutual,
is it manipulative or is it just loving?
But
like
you
we
guys
were
are still
feeling
together, and no one started trying to pull the rug out from under each other.
No. Okay. So it only it's only manipulative if it's doesn't last.
I guess so.
Okay.
Okay. Well, here we go. All right. This is 6 reasons for love bombing.
Okay.
Number 1 is to build themselves up. Narcissists are master manipulators. They strive to give the appearance of being the perfect boyfriend, girlfriend through excessive gifts and compliments. So I guess it makes them feel good to be like, look at how great I am.
Okay. I do feel good at how great I am sometimes with my gifts.
So nice. So nice.
Look how nice I am.
Number 2 is to receive adoration in return. Narcissists are only concerned with themselves, therefore they may love bomb in order to receive gifts, compliments, and attention back. So you expect for it to be like reciprocated.
Nah.
Number 3, to control. Once someone flatters with excessive adoration, over time the adoration will disappear. This allows a narcissist to start controlling an abusive behavior. That way you are reshaped into the image he or she wants you to be.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting I am a controlling person. I know this about myself, like at work, everywhere. I like want to know what's going on. I've got my finger on stuff. But like, sometimes like if Maria will be like, you don't get to control how tonight's going to go, or like she'll like make that comment. But I think about how like I just verbalize my intent and want, whereas she like more subtly does it in that, like, let's say this podcast, she expects me to find time to do it when if we're supposed to be hanging out, like it's a weekend, she is controlling me without even having to say it, because she knows, and you know, because I'll tell you, like, I don't know if I can do it. I've got Maria and the kids or whatever. She expects me to do it when she has something else going on, so that I'm not interfering with her day of that includes me. So to me, it's like sometimes I'll laugh at her. I'm like, yours is much more manipulative because you're like subtly controlling me. Whereas at least I'm saying straight up, hey, no, we've got the kids. We're doing X, Y, and Z. Mine looks more controlling, but I feel like mine is like healthier.
I mean,
than the subtle eye roll that like
you have to read into.
I've got to read into,
and, like,
or she's going to be pissed.
Yeah. I see that.
So basically, I'm healthier. But the bottom line is I'm way healthier.
She's self-diagnosing herself as healthier.
Okay.
All right. Number 4 is to trap. Love bombing can be used as a way of trapping or buttering someone up to convince them to be in a relationship. Then once they're in a relationship, abuse sets in.
Damn.
No, I feel that. Like, I know that, like, I have felt, you know, when someone's like, when you're in a relationship with someone and you know that they really are into you, and like, you know that they're going to be hurt if you leave, it has made me stay in places where I shouldn't have stayed.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And been like, well, I got to stick this out.
Right.
Maybe feelings will be better, you know? But
we're definitely different that way.
You know?
Like you're like,
so
much nicer.
I wouldn't say that you were quote love bombing to trap though.
No, like, I wasn't love bombing to trap. I was love bombing because I couldn't control myself from saying how much I was into it.
But yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I have found that I cannot say something I do not mean. Like, I physically cannot utter the words I love you to someone unless I mean them.
Yeah.
Like, it is so hard for me to say. And it's the weirdest, like, one of the weirdest, like, mental games I've ever played with myself. Because I've been like, I'm in a relationship with this person. Like, I should say it, you know?
Right.
But I fucking physically couldn't.
Do you know you told me you loved me the other night after your birthday?
I know.
That was really sweet.
Oh, see, but I meant it.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking when you said that, I'm like, she must have really meant it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love you too, my friend.
Oh, thanks.
I maybe I don't like to, but I could probably say it easier than you could.
Yeah.
If I had to.
If you had to.
But I'm not nice the way you are either.
In
like,
what
I'm
way?
not like, you will stick around because you don't want to hurt people, or like you'll.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to hurt people, but I definitely won't put myself in a bad situation to avoid hurting someone.
Yeah. Well, and it's been a learning curve for me. Like, it's one of those things where I didn't quite realize that's what I was doing until like after the fact. And it's like, like, I wish I could have like owned up and said like, this needs to end.
Yeah.
You know, like, I regret not being strong enough to like, not only say that, but also like digest it internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
For them too.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So they could just like
it's
move
not
on.
fair. It's not fucking fair.
Right.
So, another one is to keep. The tactic is often used in the beginning of a relationship, then tapered off to till excessive flattery completely disappears. But once the victim expresses they want to leave the relationship, love bombing begins again to convince them to stay. That's what my first relationship was. It was
that's definitely what mine was.
Yeah.
Too.
Like initially it was like, oh my God, I could swimming in compliments, you know, and then it tapers off.
Yeah. Then it tapers off. And then if they think you're going to bail, then it's just like, I need you.
Yeah. All the things. Number 6 is it allows them to see your boundaries. If you accept extravagant gifts, a narcissist feels you have lowered your boundaries to invite them into your life.
Accept extravagant gifts,
but
meaning like that gives you a hole to come in.
I think it gives them like a control of being like, well, I bought you these things, and I felt that too. Now that I think about it, not in a love bombing or narcissistic relationship, but just in a relationship where. Like someone's bought me stuff, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, like I feel bad. I feel bad for taking this, but they're like insistent.
It's rude. Yeah, it's rude not to.
And then you can't leave because they just bought you something cool.
Right, but it's like nobody wants you to stay. Like if I thought like somebody was staying with me because I bought them something, it's like so embarrassing for me. It makes me feel pathetic.
Right, but not everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
But I'm remembering now I talked to my therapist about that, like how this person was buying me stuff. And so it's like, I feel like, I feel weird about feeling like I want to leave. And my therapist was like, you're being trapped by niceness. Like it's a manipulative tactic.
Yeah.
You don't realize.
Even if they don't realize.
Yeah. That's just it. Like, I don't think people will realize that they're doing that.
Right.
But they're trying to do anything they can because they do want to be with you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm thinking about, like, if I now give something to Maria, it's strictly because I want her. It has nothing to. I want her to have it. I want her to have the joy of having it. Mm-hmm. It's not ever at this stage about keeping her. She needs to be indebted to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever bought something for someone to get them to try to stick around. Or thinking that they were about to dip. I can't think of anything.
Right.
But I know what's happened with me. And I was even like not with someone and they were buying me stuff. Like we had broken up and they were buying me stuff still.
That's it's uncomfortable because you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But I think with lesbians.
This makes me sound like I've dated a lot of people and like
the lesbians though in general are love bombers because that's why they're U-Haul. The stereotype is real. Like if
100%.
Somebody as practical as me is moving in with someone in less than 6 months. I mean, it was were we together like 3 months and she was moving in?
Oh, I remember the day that we were recording the podcast in your closet and I turned around and there was like little kid shoes in the closet.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know those are too small to be your youngest.
Yeah.
So hold on. And then I like saw even more little kid clothes. I'm like, they're living here.
Just think about me as a person. You know me.
It was early. And that's just it.
So practical. I am so
that's why I was so surprised.
That's what I'm saying. So if I'm doing it,
exactly.
If I can be that reckless.
If I can be that reckless.
Anyone can. So to me, it's like, I know that it's a thing. So of course love bombing's a thing.
And I think you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it. We do get like so caught up when we're meeting someone. And especially if you've been dating for a while and things don't line up every time.
Yeah, then you're like even more excited.
Yeah, so when something actually does line up, it is fucking exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Speaking of that, we did get that email from someone talking about like newly out and dating and like is it okay? I mean, not okay to love bomb if the reasons are manipulative, but like, what do you think as far as like you're out on this date or you're trying to meet people, you don't want to seem overeager, but if you're feeling that way, is it okay to say?
I mean, I don't know that I would do that on a first date. Like I'd test the waters a little bit.
Okay.
But I've also been told that I'm really hard to read on like the first date or second date. And that is because I'm afraid to say anything like that is going to be too much.
Right.
You know, like I need to be given the green light before I'm doing anything. I don't know that I've actually like come out and said anything like that to someone and been like shut down, or maybe I have. And I think that's just it. It like sticks with you. Like,
it does stick with you, and nobody wants to feel rejected or like, but I'm thinking about like my college daughter right now. She's trying to make friends in this big city and just like putting herself out there. And like, I will throw out like, why don't you just put on an email or text string, like put 3 people on and see if they'll meet out. Like, it's so easy for me to just say how easy it is and just put yourself out there. But I do sometimes go through the practice of like identifying what I call the monsters. Like, what are you the most scared of? And it's like, if I were out there single, I do feel like, and I want to be with someone. I'd like to be in a I want to be in a relationship. If that's my goal.
Yeah.
I feel like the monster in the room is that you're going to ask these people out and they're all going to say no. And then maybe they're like behind your back talking like, oh my God, I can't believe Alli Vaccaro asked me out. No, I'm not going out with you.
That's my fear.
That's identifying the monster. So, okay, the monster is that they're going to be like, Melissa asked me out.
Right. Hilarious.
That's hilarious. No, I'm not going. No, thank you.
No thanks. Can't even believe she thought to ask
no.
me.
Yeah. Okay. Like, to me, it's like if I, as an outsider looking in, am watching this unfold, I'm way thinking Melissa's cooler than this person that's such a dick.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's like there's no one off limits. Like, there's no one that's too good for you. There's no one too good for me. Mm-hmm. Like, I really believe that.
Yeah.
Like,
but
maybe
I think it's like that middle school thought, though.
It is that middle school thought. And it's the thought my daughter has. It's the thought anyone would have because you're a little bit, unstable out there. But I think, like, if you're out there single and your goal is to meet someone, you need to like say to yourself, okay, identify the monsters. What are they? They're that maybe your monster
you might
is
be
that
rejected. You might be
rejected.
About.
They might go to your friends that you guys have some mutual friends. You and I would. If I'm out there single dating, I guarantee you know who I'm interested in because you know everyone, Melissa. So you're going to hear them say, Alli Vaccaro asked me out. I don't like, I'm not into her.
Yeah.
Like, she's just not my type, AKA not attractive or something.
Right.
Maybe that's what they're saying. But like, to me, okay.
But you know what's interesting is one reason why I went on a date with someone once is because they did message me and say, hey, I had a great time hanging out with you. And God, what was it? She's like, I had a great time hanging out with you and I felt like we had a good connection. She's like, that doesn't happen very often. So I would love to take you to dinner.
Love it.
And I was like,
hell yeah.
This is amazing. Like, I'm going out with you just because you asked me and then you had the balls to ask me.
And like, to me, that is attractive.
Yes.
Like, that's far more attractive than the really beautiful insecure girl. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, it's like, there's just, there's this woman that I knew who was an old neighbor of mine who's like gorgeous. But she has a massive insecurity and like she's massively insecure. Mm-hmm. And like I always like in the back of my mind thought about how like I would much rather be with the confident unattractive. Yeah. Not even unattractive. What's unattractive anyway at this age? Like there's no one that's I have my type.
Like confidence is sexy as fuck.
It's fucking sexy.
Like
you don't even have to have a good body. You don't have to have all these things. You don't have to wear makeup.
Yeah.
Like to me, if you're a badass in your career, I'm fucking paying attention.
100%.
And so I don't like, okay, so Alli Vaccaro asked you out and you're not interested. Or like when people say, oh, not my type and kind of laughing while they say it, you're mean.
100%.
Like I don't, so to me, it's like, that's unattractive.
I agree.
So I don't like, I guess like if dating tips would be like, ask for what you want. Identify the monsters so that you've like already laid out what you're scared of. And then I go and do it anyway.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I just saw this video on TikTok the other day where it was like, I think it's on a college campus. So this is a little different like age group, of course. But it's a woman and she's going up to other women and saying, hey, like, you're really beautiful. Like, can I take you out to dinner sometime? Like, can I get your number? And like one girl, she's like, well, I'm like super straight.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, that's okay. Like, that's fine.
That's okay.
And the girl kind of hesitated for a second and she was like, okay. And like in the comments is like, she went from super straight to okay within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know? And like, but the thing was, this woman was confident and she like, literally, I mean, of course it's edited. They don't show the ones where she gets rejected. If she did, I mean, I would be surprised. But no one is like saying no to this woman. They are impressed by the fact that she's coming up, she's saying how she feels about these people, complimenting them, and then saying, hey, can I get your number so we can go out to dinner sometime? I would love to take you out.
Yes.
Like, it's that fucking easy.
It is that easy.
And of course, doing that on the street, that sounds terrifying. But do it, you know.
But even like in this day and age, you don't even have to do it on the street. Like, you could very easily, you know, quietly DM somebody.
Right, exactly.
Hey, I saw that you love Fleetwood Mac. I'm a huge fan. There's a cover band playing in Atlanta. Do you want to go?
Yeah.
My son asked this boy out just today. They're going out. And he's like, how do I make him know I'm not like, it's a date. To me, it's a date. And I'm like, you're going to say it's a date.
Yeah.
Hey, can we go to lunch? It's a date.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. And I literally looked at him. I was gritting my teeth. I'm like, you're a badass.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I can't believe you did that. And the
Man.
kid was like, literally said when and where.
That's
Love
awesome.
to. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, you
Did he
practice
know
that.
if this kid was gay or not?
Yeah, he knows
Okay,
he's
he knows
gay.
he's gay, but
He knows he's gay,
wasn't
but
sure
he's like,
that
I'm afraid he's going to
he didn't
think
wanna-
that we're just like
Bros,
meeting up,
yeah,
bros
hanging
hanging out. Yeah, I'm like, you're going to say, identify the monsters. We always do. And then, okay, he's not into that. That's okay.
yeah.
You're still cool.
Uh-huh.
But it was like he was screenshotted the response and was like sharing it, so beaming to Maria and
What if he
I.
accidentally sent it to the guy?
I know, right? I always double check. Like, anytime I said anything, because Maria's mom's name is Martha, and sometimes I'll send
my
stuff
God.
that's like highly inappropriate, and I'm like, oh God, did I send that to Martha or Maria?
The other day, I was talking with Marina, like, and our friend Christine, and we're like on a group chat, and then Marina's like trying to call me, and I didn't answer. I forget what I was doing, but she accidentally texts the group chat, and she's like, "Babe, pick up the phone." And like, I think I had responded to her on mine, and I said, "I'm talking to my mom." And like, she replies on the group,
Yes.
and she's like, "I don't care. Like, answer me. I need to ask you something."
Oh my God.
And she's like mortified because Christine's reading it, and I'm
like, Christine's like, God,
getting the new asshole ripped.
Yeah,
over here.
seriously.
And it's like literally, like, Marina never does that.
she's like, the one time she's a
one
dick.
time, and it's on a group text.
Exactly.
It's the
Oh my
worst.
God. Yeah, I know. You have to double check. I'm sure Owen, he is very much like me. I'm sure he double, triple, and quadruple checked.
I mean, it's happened to everybody. Like,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
accidentally respond to the wrong thing, or
Totally.
send the wrong picture,
Yeah.
like all of that.
What's another good dating? I think another good dating tip might be that, like, we've talked about this, but before you go, have some, I'm not saying prepare, but prepare a little.
Like, prepare topics to talk
Yeah.
about, questions to ask.
Right.
Absolutely.
And a
I think
plan.
that's a great
Like,
idea.
to me, there's like something really loserish about, like, if somebody asked me out and we had no idea what we're doing, no reservation, no
Mm-hmm.
plan, I get maybe that's cool, but like, I don't know. I appreciate someone who like got ready and made a reservation.
Yeah.
And like, we have this couple that we get together with a lot, and they already are like, okay, we're going to take an Uber together. We'll pick you up at this time. Our reservation's at this time. Like, there's something sweet that they like put this night
they
together
care.
for Maria and I.
But I wouldn't necessarily do that with someone that I just met on an app. Like, if I'm doing like a first meetup on an app, I'm only just like going to a bar or a coffee shop.
Yeah.
But like, the first true date that Marina and I went on, I made reservations.
Make
Like,
reservations.
and yeah, like we had, we did dinner, and then we went up to the rooftop at Ponce City Market or Claremont Lounge.
Yeah.
And had a drink up there.
It's amazing.
Like, and
Even picking a location that there's a second location,
Yeah.
to me is like very cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And getting ready. Like, I think this generation, like, of younger people, they don't necessarily like get ready. Like,
Yeah.
put yourself
Put
together.
yourself together. Yeah. What are some questions that you would ask on a date? Like, what are you, like, getting to know you questions?
I mean, I take everything too far with the questioning.
I mean, that's true.
I'm known for this. But I like the Curb Your Enthusiasm show. We're going to go from small talk to medium talk quickly. But I'm always curious around like what people would do if they could have any like startup, or like they like, I asked somebody that the other day. He was talking about how he wishes he had lost his job and was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. And I was like, if you could start any company, like what what interests you? Like what would you wish you were doing every day? I'm always interested in that. I think I'm always interested too in people's like, I don't want to say childhood trauma because that's too deep, but like, what do you bring into adulthood that's like a little bit of your laughable, traumatic. Yeah, your laughable flaw. I know what mine are.
Your laughable flaw.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything too like terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you can get into like the childhood stuff, like surface level,
yeah,
not
level.
traumatic, but like asking like what was like your summer tradition when you were a kid? Like either like a trip or like just what you did on your own, like when you weren't in school, that kind of thing.
And maybe what do you like to do when you're not working? Like what do you like to do?
That was one of the big questions that I would ask people on the dating app was like, what do you like to do when you're,
what do you like to do when you're not working?
What do I like to do?
Yeah.
Oh man. Record the podcast. No.
Yeah, record the podcast.
I feel like that's always at the top
podcast.
of my list. Go to CrossFit, I guess. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
I bought a mountain bike like a year ago and I've ridden it once. So I think I might sell it. Just anything really outside or with my kids.
Yeah. Those are the same for me. I sometimes though like set up scenarios where like to me it's like when I'm describing or for my daughter when she's like in a rough patch or like I'm kind of lonely right now. I don't know. I'm in college. What do I do? I'm always thinking like to me what sounds so lovely is like I love going to a bookstore and I give myself like an hour to read like 5 pages of multiple books and then pick my favorite and then buy it, get a coffee and like to sit and read. To me is like such a gift.
I always feel so overwhelmed by a bookstore though.
I know bookstores are overwhelming. I know, but if you go into it saying I'm just going to read a few pages of each book. I'm reading a book right now, and actually I'm not reading. I have the book, but I decided to get it on Audible so I could do it while I'm working.
I do Audible, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a marriage book about like a prescription for marriage. And I thought that it was like, I don't know, like I'm getting lost in it.
Yeah.
There's great advice in there, things we do, things we don't do.
I realized today that my go-to books are all like self-help
and
it's
biography.
So lame. And I'm like,
so
who
lame.
even am I?
I'm the same.
I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I know I talked to Marina about it, but there is a movie that I saw where there's a woman and she's in a bookstore and she's browsing in the self-help section and then she panics because someone sees her
in the self-help aisle.
And I remember being like, I'll never be that person.
I'm
never going to be looking in the self-help section. And here I am,
in
like
the self-help
every one of my fucking audibles.
I know. I read a book. I might have even told Marina about it, but it was like a gut health book. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my God, it's like so eye-opening and so good. Mm-hmm. But it's like that. Why is this interesting to me? Like, how old am I? Am I 100 that I'm interested in gut health?
Shit. Like, I just listened to Selma Blair's biography or autobiography, which was actually interesting.
Yeah.
She has MS.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maria is always doing like fiction. So we'll be on vacation and I'm like trying to tell her about this like really interesting gut health thing or something.
That's me. Like I want to learn something.
I guess I do too, but it is like when they're like, I did read Where the Crawdads Sing, which is now the movie.
I saw the movie.
But the book was really good. And like that was the last fiction book I remember loving. The rest of them I'm reading and I'm just kind of like, okay.
And I feel like that's the one that I was thinking about listening to. I think it's on like our Audible account is combined now.
Okay.
And it was funny because I had like brought it up. I didn't realize that it had combined with like Amazon. And I'm looking through, I'm like, what is all this shit on here? Like, I haven't read this.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of like fiction stuff and like Game of Thrones kind of stuff. And I'm like, when did I do that?
What?
That doesn't sound like me.
But I want to get into fiction.
I know. And that's what I used to read when I was younger.
Because it's like for vacation. I guess that's a good, like, is there any good lesbian fiction?
I don't know.
Like, I would be into that. If any of our listeners know of any really good lesbian fiction. One of our people that emailed us that I absolutely want to have on, I think she would be amazing because she's in academia, but talked a little bit about like perimenopause and about like, she's reading a lot of books related to coming out. And she mentioned a few that I thought I knew all of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Like, there were a few she listed that I hadn't heard of. So I thought, I do enjoy reading like coming out books that are, I don't know. We read a few back in the day.
Yeah. All the ones that I read were like old though.
Yeah. But I think those are always fascinating.
Untamed has become like the Bible.
Yeah.
So
I love Glennon Doyle. I mean, I know people have
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah. I have always like enjoyed her.
We can do hard things if we have a lot of money.
I know. But she didn't always have a lot of money.
No, but I'm saying like the hard part for her of coming out, it's not the hard that a lot of our listeners experience.
Right.
You know, like,
but it's a different, like, I guess what I would say to that as a rebuttal is sometimes when you do have a lot of money, there are other pressures that you don't to consider.
I mean, and I will follow that up too with the fact that her husband had cheated on her multiple times. She had an out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that's valid.
So, I mean, but I think I'll follow that up with, I think that she has done wonderful things for our community and our visibility.
Yes.
And like empowering people to know that it's okay to come out later.
Yeah. I was like a kid in a candy store when I saw that she came out.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember where I was when I read the article.
Yeah.
I was like standing in line at like Firehouse Subs or something. And I was like, a Christian blogger? I don't even think I'd heard of her before that.
I had. I was a fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have heard of her. I don't know. But she was not familiar to me. I
hadn't did you read all the other books? Like Loveware?
No.
Okay, yeah. See, I had read all the books. I was into her.
Yeah.
As an author. And so then to get that, I remember Becky Mountainer like sent me the thing like, holy shit, Glennon Doyle, because she and I were both fans of her blog.
And it's intriguing too to think back like that when that first book came out, her very first one, it was like right after it had been published that she found out that her husband had been cheating on her all that time. I was like,
I wonder how he felt knowing she's writing this book.
Right? Like, look at how great we are at being married. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Psych.
He's like, hey, Glennon, watch this.
I don't know, though. I'm sure that also the timing wasn't that precarious because it's likely that you write a book, months go by, like...
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But, like, can you imagine?
No.
Like, being in that boat of, like, fuck, I've got to promote this book, and he's off gallivanting.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. So she had other stressors.
Right. I mean, absolutely. She's been through a lot. She's battled with alcoholism, eating disorder, all that. Like, she has been through hard things, but when it comes to coming out, I don't think her story is comparable to a lot of people who do come out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. Do you feel like still, like that just reminded me of, I was standing at rugby, Reed's playing rugby this past week, and it was freezing cold out. And I'm standing next to this dad who now our kids are on the sports team together, but also he's a dad for my kids' school, and we have a lot of mutual friends. And so we're standing there talking, and he's like, yeah, oh my God, I met your husband at the last practice. So good to finally meet you. Our boys are in class together. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, but it's my ex-husband. Mm. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm like, no, don't be sorry.
Yeah,
like he's a good friend of mine. Yeah. But then it's like, I'm thinking in that moment of like, cause he's now going to see me a lot. Mm-hmm. He's going to see my partner. Yeah. Do I go ahead and come out? Do I mention my wife or my partner? Like, what do you even say? If you say my partner, that feels lame. Like, so I think I did end up saying like, yeah, Maria and I live, near you. Somehow I said it so that he knew, but you could almost like see the light bulb go off in his head of like, wait a minute. Okay. I met her ex-husband. She's now with a woman. Yeah. We're all at school together. We have all these mutual friends. Like, I don't know. It was just like this interesting feeling of he and I, we connected eyes and like he was seeing what was happening. Uh-huh. But that happens to me with some frequency.
Yeah, I've had that. I haven't been where they've said my husband. I feel like because it's pretty well established that he's like with someone else. It is kind of like I will have to like mention, my girlfriend or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, huh? Like you just see this like they're trying to put the puzzle together.
Right.
Like how did that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when did that happen?
Right.
Like, and like no question is appropriate for them to ask that's popping into
unless
their head
you're me
in that moment.
who asks any question.
Who asks any question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thankfully they are kind of like mute themselves because I would hate to think if they just word vomited the first questions that they have.
Yeah, right, what they would be.
Oh, God.
How did you know?
I will see the light bulb go off in their head if it's a divorced dad, this has happened, where they realize that I'm divorced too.
And they think maybe they could
I
ask
had
you
one
out.
want my number, and he started texting me like right away. This is a couple years ago. He starts texting me like right away. And I was just like, dude, wrong tree.
Yeah, wrong tree. Yeah, that's hard. I don't, it's weird because I don't get, it's almost like I wonder if I'm starting to look gay. Because like, I don't feel like I get necessarily the same way. Men don't look at me the way they used to.
I don't know. I feel that way sometimes, but then I don't. Like, I've gone to like straight bars, and like my friend Tamara, she was like, that dude over there like just checked you out like all over the place, and I'm literally like wearing a hoodie and jeans and Vans, and I'm just like, what? And I've said that to her. I'm like, do you see what I'm wearing? And she's like, but some guys like that.
Yeah, they do, because it's like you don't care.
And she's like, they like your energy too, and like, and the fact that you don't care. You know, like you could give two shits.
You do have good energy.
Thanks.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. Good vibes only.
Good vibes only.
Is that a sticker?
It's so dumb. It's like, I have this friend at work who, she constantly, I mean, she's making fun of people who do it, but she'll always, like, anything I send to the group, she'll be like, hashtag blessed. Hashtag too blessed to care, too blessed to stress, good vibes only,
good vibes
eat,
only.
pray, love.
Salt life.
Salt life. She like, totally does.
Salt life. You
She
live in
totally
Georgia.
Does. I love it so much. On that note, we got to run.
We got to run.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandalli@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Alli, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.